SEO 101. What is SEO anyway? SEO stands for search engine optimization. The ultimate goal of SEO is to build up the credibility of your website so you show higher on search engines without paying for ads. Now, the nice thing about SEO is that it attracts a more intentful buyer. Now, what I mean by that, there's nothing wrong with paid ads, but there's a difference in the demographic that it attracts. With paid ads, you're largely interrupting the visitor. They're on Facebook, they're on Google, they're playing around and doing something and killing time. You catch their attention with a shiny object. So that's a different type of audience because what you're trying to do is stereotype them and go, what type of thing would catch their attention? SEO is the opposite. SEO focuses on people that are in the buyer's journey, and ideally you create content that catches them midway between the purchasing decision and establishes your trust and credibility. And they go, I want your thing. So with SEO, you're attracting people that are more likely to convert. So with SEO, the goal is to not spend money on ads. So there's SEM, which is search engine marketing, encompasses multiple things, which is paid ads and organic and all the things. But SEO is only organic. I'm not going to show you all these slides, but these are some great slides from a presentation that I often give. And there's some really cool things in here as to the value of SEO. So there's a question on what drives the most traffic to your website. And generally, there's four types of options: paid ads on social, paid ads on search engines, organic social media, or organic search engine results. Now, there's a couple outliers like email and things like that. Would you be surprised if it's SEO, organic search engine results? Well, probably not, because I'm talking about SEO, but I bet what you will be surprised is by how large of a margin. Conductor did a study a while ago that was really eye-opening. You know, if you're killing it in paid ads, keep doing that, but look at how much money you're leaving on the table. In general, across the board, this will vary by different audiences and industries. An average of the survey showed that 64% of traffic from source to website across most websites surveyed was organic. So just think about how much money you're leaving on the table. Now, part of that is because people get what's called banner blindness. Like when we go to a website or a search result and we see an ad, you know it's an ad. And so a lot of times you click over it. So even if an ad shows up first, depending on the medium, like a search engine, most people are still going to scroll through and click on organic. Now, there's a lot of other cool things that are in here as far as like what exactly is SEO and how does it compare to other forms of marketing. This is a really interesting thing here. 1.91%, the average click-through rate of Google Ads. So even though Google Ads show higher than organic, just like I was talking, people get banner blindness and they skip over those. You have a 20 times greater organic desktop listings, still produce 20 times more clicks than PPC. And organic listings capture 94% of all clicks on Google search. So think about how much money Google makes in paid ads. That's the majority of their revenue. And even though there's that many people clicking on those paid ads, there are 94% other of that 100% of the pie that are not clicking on the paid ads. So here's what we're talking about, right? Pay to play here. These are all the free things. This is where 94% of people are clicking. So what does SEO involve? Largely only three things. Now, there are lots of subsets of fulfillment that go into SEO, but we can pretty much simplify it into three categories of fulfillment. One is website structure, two is content, and three is credibility. So what we're talking about is your website platforms matter. These all have different pros and cons. So let's talk about maybe Wix versus WordPress. You know, Wix is nice because it provides an easy way for a novice website builder to get in, build something quick and presentable. But the problem is you can only optimize what Wix gives you access to, which is not everything. That's why WordPress is so popular, because you own the installation. You can get in and touch and feel and optimize and improve the page speed of all the things. So your website structure matters based on how mobile friendly it is, how quickly it loads, how clear the call to action is. When we talk about these three pillars, what a lot of people are surprised to learn, website structure is the minority of this. Most of your gains are going to come from content credibility. However, that will only be as effective as the website structure is for all those efforts to bounce off of. So I like to look at the structure first. Now, once you get a home run on your website structure and things are loading quickly and mobile friendly, then we want to move on to the second pillar, which is content. The second pillar of SEO is content. Now, usually what I hear is content is hard, and I get it, but there are easy ways, right? There's tons of great tools. Here's one on screen, spyfu.com. You can go in and look at what all the other websites are talking about and ranking for. From there, you can learn what keywords they are targeting and figure out where the money's at. So SpyFu is a great tool where it'll say, hey, this is what your competitor is targeting organically. This is what they're targeting paid. Now, even though we're talking about SEO, it's good to look at paid data too, because if they're making money on it, it's probably a good consideration for you to target for organic as well. So depending on what topics you see revealed in here, then you can go to another great free tool called answerthepublic.com. In there, what you can do is type in the words that you found from here and align your top topics with buyer intent. So this was a great presentation I did for ClickFunnels. In it, we looked at funnel software through Answer the Public says, here's the who, what, when, where, and why of what people are talking about funnel software, a word that ClickFunnels could monetize with ranking. So what you can do with this data, you want to find out what people are already asking search engines. Now, this can be about your industry, like we said, software, funnel software, or it can be about your brand. What you want to look for is the positives. What are people talking about in a positive light in your brand or your product or service? Double down on those. It may also reveal negative things, and that's great feedback loop for you to improve those things. You can do the same by peeking at your competition. What are they doing good? Maybe introduce that into your product as well. What are they doing bad? Make sure to avoid that. Now, one of my favorite stories to tell is when we were working with the Utah Jazz on the retail division, the team store. As we were going through the same process, we were looking at, okay, how do we attract people that are interested in newer players, but also legacy Hall of Fame players like Karl Malone? So going through the same process, one of the questions that came up was, how did Karl Malone die? This is not a topic that I would have thought of or the Jazz would have thought of, but the data revealed. That's the key thing here, is remove the emotions from it and go to where the audience is. So this is a great opportunity. Maybe you do a topic like, here are the top 10 myths of how Karl Malone died. So if you didn't know already, Karl Malone's not dead. So even though it's the wrong question, you can create the right answer from it by looking at the data. So then the people come in, and by the way, while you're here, here's Karl Malone's jersey. So now that you've written great content, don't stop there. What you want to do is repurpose it, because you spent all this time figuring out where the money is and how to align it with buyer intent. So get into repurposing it. From there, you might take your text-based content and put it into a graphic. You might take your text and put it into a video. And then here's what I like to recommend is stacking it. Put the text-based content first because it loads quicker. By process of elimination, the video and infographic are down further. What this does is now the text is higher, so search engines can read that most important part first. And then because your content is diversified, it's going to show your website results higher. And you also have the potential for those repurposed videos and graphics to show up in the video and graphic carousel. So now you have a greater monopoly on page one while also suppressing the competition. Pillar number 3 is external credibility. A big chunk of that is backlinks. Now you're probably familiar that backlinks are a core part of Google's algorithm. It's what made them work so quickly to take over market share, even though they were the new kids on the block. Because in the beginning of search engines would largely rely on what the webmasters would put in meta keywords. We did a video earlier about why meta keywords are no longer a thing. Why? Because people abuse them. That's why Google came in and said, let's look at things that are less likely to be abused. Let's look at external signals, which are backlinks. That's why they became such a core part of the algorithm. And as you notice the trend by now, things that look hard, there are often easier ways to get around it. One way is you can let others do it for you. This was a fun piece that we did for a client called Pajamas. For all the parents out there, they sell potty training pajamas with built-in diaper liners for your kids. Now, what we did is we said, hey, we need to get in front of the audience of people that have already talked about diapers and potty training. So we can use tools like one of them is Ninja Outreach. It's a paid tool. There's lots of other ones, maybe Pitchbox, which is also a paid tool. But what you can do is you can type in a keyword. So in there, maybe you talk about, in this case, diapers, and it's going to say, here's all these blogs and social media people that have already talked about that. It'll also give you metrics on how large their audience is and how big their engagement score is. From there, it has points of contacts. So you can reach out in this case to a woman named Amy and say, Amy, you're amazing. You do great things in talking about potty training and diapers and all the things about parenting. We're doing a crowdsourced piece of content. Would you like to showcase your opinion? Of course, the majority of people want to showcase their opinions. So what you do is you gather their replies. You create a crowdsourced piece of content here that goes left, right, showcases everybody, publish it, put it on the blog, put it on social media, and then tag them. Hey, Amy, you're now famous. You're now on our blog. By the way, we've already tagged you over here. Would you mind going and sharing it with your audience? And then from there, you're going to get some shares and some love on social media, and many of them will also go share it on their blog. There you go. That is what SEO, the goal is to increase the credibility of your website so you attract ideal buyers for free without paying from ads, from search engines through 3 main pillars of fulfillment: improving your site structure, improving your content game, and improving your external credibility. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot in today's video. Don't forget to like the video. That gives me feedback so I know what more topics to produce. What more topics is a phrase, right? Click the subscribe button and enable that little notification bell right there so you also know when I drop a new video.